Oh, my hair looks cute today. I love when my hair looks cute. Anyway, hey howdy everyone, Lost City here, back in action for more The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, specifically the Adventures. Woo woo woo! And I just noticed, y'all, this actually keeps up where you left off. So if your follows at a certain place, it will be right there. At that place. And that's a great touch. I love those kind of touches. It's very little that they have to do, but it's such a good impact of where you're at. I love that so much. Select adventure. So we have like these many more to go. I just wanted to continue on that, but we are here. Now, we're not specifically here, we're actually elsewhere, where we're, we just move a little. Well, actually, in Mr. That's his room, right? Or, no? Yeah, we haven't been in this place for a while, have we? The workplace, it's great. It's a dream come true for the detective. I believe we're supposed to go back to Gribben's room to see what's up with those two. We need to be deducting things. 19th February, Mr. Gribben's room. Oh, you here again. Well, howdy! What's up, Riley? It's been a while. Audacity, you and your system are wonderful. It's great to see you here too, Riley. Yeah. We're getting started up in here, so I hope we're getting started hot. Jeez. There you go. I like how my body is actually having a neck, and that's pretty cool. And I know it's weird to state it now, but that's pretty cool. Tell me, was the detective chap? I forgot his name. I still had work down there. Mr. Herlock Schlums? Oh yes, rings a vague bell. All that detective business is really isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. You were here yesterday too. I just figured you'd name yourself. I appreciate that. I know you're here every now and again and asking. I appreciate it. I really do. I really do. It's great to just hear people just say hello. So yeah. Well, Mr. Schlums is in his element down there. Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Jonah. Now then, why didn't you tell— Ah! For the umpteenth time, woman! Will you watch your belly while doing? She'll be serving dinner shortly, sir. Yes, of course. Oh, frightfully rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave, if you'd be so kind. Oh, yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for all your assistance. Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out. According to Mr. Schlums, Mr. Garvin is hiding something. Since no avenues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. Oh. Ready? Mr. Schlums? What are you doing here, bud? Ah! What's he doing over there? Mr. Schlums? Haha! We meet again, my dear fellows! Good gracious, when did you sneak in here? Herlock Schlums, sir, at your service. Whatever were you doing over by the window? I am given to watching the evening sky as the sun sets, madam. Yet sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks the aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up there. Well, keeping an eye to one's window at dusk is a prudent thing in London, I'm gathering. One more thing, Mr. Naruto. Oh, me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Wait, he's not talking about... Is he... Didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. Do you mean Mr. Slums? There's a mighty seeker in this modest room. I see even the most trivial trifles. I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruto? I think so. There's just time enough for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let us conclude the matter before dark. I love this dude, because he's such an ass. Mr. Gerben? Though it would seem you are a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is most certainly not what one might call first rate. I'm afraid, sir, that is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I have been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements. I beg your pardon. The first is that even as we speak, you're concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you. Mr. Naruto, look! The old man's broken out in a cold sweat. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Shlum's conclusions are both spot on. How could you possibly... How could I possibly know? You mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts. I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Here we go. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Nature of the beast. It certainly, shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus we are faced with a question. What form might this beast take? For a man with a military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Your furtive glance, Mr. Gerben, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that lion statue. Yes, though an army man, you appear unopposing at best. A fact that has funneled your admiration for the mighty king, the king of beasts, the lion. What is this piffle, I ask you? In the end, your admiration becomes so great, in fact, that you are a living, breathing specimen shit from India, which you try to keep in this very house. What? Yet living with such a wild beast provided more difficult than you imagined. The chilling traces of wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well... Yet, as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry eye creature have disappeared to? Madam? Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it's plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is. Your dress pocket gives a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. For protruding from its handbill advertising a circus show. Yes, you sought to dispose of the terrifying lion, Mr. Girbin. At Batty's Circus. A traveling show currently sojourning in the nearby park. Reserve the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe. I most certainly did not. I believe I have made my point. The fearsome beast which ran amok in this room was an Indian lion. And a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. A rampaging, aesthetic lion. Asiatic. Aftermath. Da-na-na-na. Now, Mr. Girbin, it is plainly clear that you have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in the pantheon, Indeed, in the painful pose, the distress this loss has caused you is verbally tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Amidst fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage. Nonsense, man, I simply... But what, we must ask ourselves, is the true cause of this pain? We need only the direction of our gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is the pile of bills that has risen to the pain you suffer. Every envelope contains another demand for payment. For carloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on your financial circumstances of your household. And so you have no choice but to let it go. Yes, well, Now, in a final fit of rage, the fierce beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? Well, that aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. Very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. There is no creature more dangerous on this earth than a piece of an unsatiable appetite. Was it or was it not, once said by a certain noblewoman? If they have no bread, let them eat cake? Food is the heart of all tragedy, in fact. Whatever do you mean? Having tired of the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of his final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There's only one logical conclusion. Wounded to frenzy by hunger, the beast attacked and ate the carpet. The teeth marks in the carpet are a perfect match for those of a lion I once saw in India. That was not it. That was clearly not it. Carpet gnawed on by a starving lion. No. Dear God, no. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction. This beastly puzzle. Ah! What is the matter with you, Jonah? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Girbin. I'm afraid I didn't notice. My deductions can be startly sharp. It stands to reason that your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times too. Naruto. Mr. Schloms? Sorry to butt in again, but could I make an observation? Why, certainly, Mr. Naruto. What is it again? Well, your deductions just now. Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room of this size? Indeed, it is only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense. Wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well? But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garvin and his maid would have been hurt, or worse. Ah, that's where you are stuck. No doubt for the former military man held his own against the beast using that large cannon. But you said they sold the lion to the circus. And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing, but I don't believe I've ever heard of a lion that drinks tea. Ah, my dear Mrs. Sato, it occurs to me with some irregularity that irrespective of race and breed, whatever anyone lands on Great British soil, they are infused with a highly appropriate taste of afternoon tea. No. Oh, what a glorious notion! Well then, Mr. Naruto, it's your turn to shine. I had a feeling this was coming. A slutless boss, that's all Mr. Shlum's deductions need. You could do it! Excellent, I've been waiting for my trusty partner in detection to step forward. Mr. Naruto. We don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsume's case. Still. Uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least, that's what I want to believe. Let us start again. From the beginning of Herlock Shlom's logic and reasoning spectacular. Here we go again. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Schloms. I love that sentence. It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on the rampage of late within these four walls. Thus we are faced with a question. What form might this beast take? Ah, for a man with a military breeding, your eyes are commonly uncanny. Your frigid glance, Mr. Gerben, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by the lion statue. Nope. I really didn't see the lion coming. No, but if you observe Mr. Gerben's reaction, it rather seems as though some beast did indeed run amok here in this room. Yes, something with a very fierce nature. But it could have been a lion transported from India. So what was it then? We must follow Mr. Greben's gaze. That'll lead us to the true answer. Oh? What's this photograph? It appears to be from Mr. Greben's wedding. It looks very happy, doesn't it? He does, but you can't make it out his bride. No, how unfortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face. Wonder what happened. Probably best not to dwell too deeply there. The glass is broken, so you can't see the bride's face at all. No amount of cracks could hide the woman's plump form. I think powerful would be kinder than plump, Mr. Naruto. Yes, she certainly looks that. There's a lot of horsepower there. Not someone you'd want to upset, that's for sure. Oh look, have you noticed her wedding ring? It's very large, isn't it? Yes, that's an unusual design. Looks like some sort of embellished sunflower. That might be it. I think that's it. Because he is looking at the lion statue, but like not directly there. So we'll go here. Okay, so please.
Take that!
There you go. So that the newly wedded bride, yes. The true nature of the beast has that has run rampant here is revealed by the newly wedded bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruto. No other explanation could possibly fit. Yes, this framed picture, print picture of your wife, Mr. Gerbin. And while we laminate the face that the fact that her face is obscured, we can still make out her mighty arms, and note the considerable horsepower they must contain. Oh, indeed, surely anyone with such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast. Honored might be stretching a point. Too late. The fact remains that the beast, which so clearly savaged this room, was your wife's, Mr. Gribben. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well, yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam? Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it's plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is? Your treasure pocket gives up a handsome clue as the beast's current whereabouts. The poor, fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself. Well, I don't know about fragile. Oh dear. Anyway, Mr. Slums is quite right. There's no sign of Mrs. Grabbin anywhere. But it seems there may be a clue as to her whereabouts. Who that this maid is trying to hide. Wonder where Mr. Gribben's wife could be. Okay. So, it's hard to like get the clues. Oh, right there. There you go. Got it. Got it, baby. That's it. She's wearing a very large ring. Look. Oh, yes, a sunflower design with some rather nice embellishments. And so the ring finger on the left hand, which means it's surely a wedding ring. Looks like it's on there for life, too. Can't imagine when slide out the finger of that size. That's something to think, Mr. Naruto. Not to say. Do you know Mr. Grumman's wife in the photograph had a ring very much slimmer, much like that, like this one? It was a very large sunflower design as well. Really? You have a great memory for these things. A large sunflower, wedding ring. It's quite a coincidence that they have the same ring, isn't it?
Take that!
There you go. Your wedding ring gives a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Ah! Indeed it does. That feathery band gleaming on your finger gives you away. For it is identical to the one shown on the hand of Mr. Gribben's bride in this photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. No. You are Mr. Gribben's lucky bride. You are Mrs. Gribben herself. Oh my, what? Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmise, this is my wife, yes? My Jonah. Rather let herself go, you might say. But she has a bar! It would appear you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you're a retired army man, yet you're in a business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct? It's not right, I tell you. I was second lieutenant of the 3rd Regime, and then has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when an old chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employment. Yes, here in London, one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. Though, in my considerable opinion, such concerns about appearances are a folly. You mean Mr. Gerben has his wife work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Gurdon? Only in company, obviously, but listen here. This must remain a secret. Tip-top secret, please! The raging wife of Mr. Gribben. Gardum. I don't know, I'm gonna call him Gribben as many times as I want. He's not gonna be named correctly. Now, Mr. Gribben. It is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in the Pilith pose, the distress this loss has caused you is vertibly tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel by revealing that by that supporting arm. Mr. Slums is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Gerben's wife a beast. Yes, as a woman that feels rather uncomfortable. But Mr. Gerben is standing up beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he? Oh, how true. So perhaps that supporting arm that seems to be propping up his head has some other significance instead. According to Mr. Slomes, Mr. Gerben, pain is tangible, though. What could that pose of his really signify? Oh, it's probably this. Oh, he got slapped hard. Oh my god. Not pipe. Slap cheek. Oh my! Look at that bright red mark! Gosh, it's quite something. Clearly made by someone's hand. Yes, Mr. Gerben has been slapped on the face. It seems hard. I've never seen such a clearly defined mark. Whoever could have done such a thing? Well, there's a very limited number of candidates, I'd say.
Take that!
By that slap cheek, baby. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel being revealed by that slap cheek. And of course, the delivery of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade. Was you, Madam Jonah, Gridden? Well, yes. You have been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. Ah! Now the blazes! How did you work that out, man? Well, thanks to the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. To keep your other side from view. Well, Now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves, what caused Madame Gribben to fly into a rage? And we need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, in the pile of bills that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Didn't Mr. Slum say that the bills were all for lion fodder? Yes, but now we're established that the lion never existed. Which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Mr. Gerben's wife. Mr. Naruto! She's a person, not a thing! Yes, well, she's always also a person who gave her husband a mighty slap round the face. One so hard that it left a perfect hand mark, in fact. Yes, why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder? Kinky play! Kinky play! Don't judge. I'd love to know the answer to that question. Okay, well, it's probably... Ooh, bookmark. What's bookmark? Oh, there it is. Someone must be reading this book on the moment. There's a bookmark here, too. Look. Mr. Gerben is clearly an avid reader. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh no, so it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Oh, look, next to the signature here. Lip marks. Me with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate and romantic gesture. Don't get any ideas, Susato-san. Oh dear. I'm sorry. So this bookmark is actually a love note then. Huh. Love notes. Well. Take that! I think it's the love note. Yes, it's the love note that has given rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary, is the fly in the ointment here. Ah! But I don't know the belly woman. You don't know her? That note wasn't written to me. It was just in a book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in there, you say? That's right. That's what I'm... A likely story. Now listen here, Jonah, old thing. I explained at the time. I bought the book on the second-hand place, and that note must already have been in there. So the previous owner of the book was using the note as a bookmark, you mean? That's right, that's what... A likely story. For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name. It's written to James! My name, in case you haven't forgotten, is... A likely story. Are you questioning my name now? And there we have it. Arouse the suspicion of the female heart, and you unleash a beast with a most ferocious bite. Now, in a final fit of rage, the fierce beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answers very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need only look at the Tower of Cakes. But surely Mrs. Garvin didn't eat the carpet. No, of course not. But there doesn't seem to be any doubt that the state of disarray in this room isn't a result of her wild temper. No, that's true. So this is the last part of Mr. Sloan's deduction we need to fix. We need only follow Miss Garvison's gaze, and that won't tell us the real answer. Alright, let's see what we could see. Yes. I think it's right there with the candlestick. Circus handbill. Oh. Well, she's following the gaze. I think it's the candlestick. This looks like a very old candlestick, doesn't it? The base looks too small. Surely it's very unstable. Looks to me even the slightest knock would make it topple over. Oh dear, that would be dangerous. Wait, take a closer look at this. There's one candle missing. Yes, I didn't notice that before. Why is that, I wonder? Why is one candle of the three missing from its holder? I guess we just look at the carpet. The carpet here has been ripped in shreds. Yes, according to Mr. Sloan's deduction, the tears match those made by Indian lion's teeth exactly. Oh, look here! I need to clear my throat. What is it? If you look closely at the edge, you can see scorch marks. I guess so you can. In that case, perhaps the carpet wasn't eaten in a normal sense at all. Let's rethink this with that in mind. Oh.
Take that!
Yeah, candlestick. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, we need to only look at the candlestick. Most illuminating, my dear fellow. But of course, the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of a ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed they are. The scorch marks on the edge clearly give the truth away. Scorch marks? It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation. Miss Garvin's mighty arms muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused a candle to fall from the holder. And in seconds, the carpet was alight, and the whole corner of the room in flames. Yes, well... For the most ferocious beast in this world is neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire. In this room, that fierce beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow. So you see, there is but one conclusion. After the sparks of marital discourse flew, this room was the scene of a fire. Mr. Sloan, sir, I salute you! Oh, that's cute. Carpet scorched by a small fire. Yay! We did it. Elementary. Elementary. We did it. Yes, these dash long winter nights, you know. Nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good second-hand bookshop just around the corner. Buy all my old novels there. In the pages of one particular novel, you discover some rather illicit material. For which your wife banished you harshly, it seems. Don't know about abolish. Demolish might be rather closer to the mark. And beast is most certainly the... Ah! Here we go again. And the carpet? Was that destroyed by fire when a candle fell on the floor? Right to say it was. Happened in a blink of an eye, you know. Whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. was caught between the old stick's rage and the raging flames. Your paint torn picture, sir. One that would be been most entertaining. Sympathy for you. It didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The ballet furniture started going up as well. We had to hide the mess behind the screen for the time being. Over here, Mr. Gerben? Well, you have nothing more to hide now. If you allow me. I had my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire had hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Gosh. And the wife started hurling things at me. What a terrible sight it must have been. There was I, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books, and coming 10 to the dozen. Worst of it, I lost my favorite, book called The Lion's Pride. The Lion's Pride? Ah, yes! Your notorious love of big cats coming through again. I assure you the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest. So then the poor man really did lose something dear to him, as a result of Fierce Beast's rampage. Mr. Slow's deductions turned out to be correct once again. It can only be described as a great British wonder. I tell you, it was a total carnage. Flames everywhere and the old stick in full fettle. Out of interest, what time of day was that? Not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see, around 5 o'clock, I think. So at exactly the same time, as the terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below. Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. The whole of Blightly could have been flattened outside my window at that moment. I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing. Oh, really? Mr. Sloanes? Yes, Mr. Naruto? What can I do for you? Well, I think I got to the bottom of Mr. Gerben's situation now. What does that have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances? Can't help you there, I'm afraid. What? My dear fellow, if you crawl, I did say as much as from the onset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man to be hiding something, I could not be sure whether his secret would prove to be of relevance or not. I just knew you were going to say that. Now, Mr. Naruto, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into one of two categories. Those relevant to the case and those not. That makes no sense to me. Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Sorry? Visiting hours in the prison will soon be over. Oh no. Is it that time already? We're going to accept Mr. Natsume's case. We have official paperwork to attend to. So that's it. No more time to think. Perhaps you'd like to betake yourselves to bidding us farewell now. I must prepare a supper for Mr. Gerben. Oh yes. I'm so sorry. Thank you both very much for your time. Sasaki-san will be waiting for us. I'm going to have to give him an answer. Okay. So let us move to the prison. 19th February. Road. It's time, Mr. Naruto. We must hurry to the back to the prison. Yes, I know. Let's hail a Oh. What's the matter? It looks like something's going on over there in front of the Gribbon's house. Oh, this dude did it. This dude did it. He did it. When you see someone of an arrogant ass like that, that's the killer. I know thee not, old man. Fall thy prayers. Who you calling old man, you robin locking nibbing Benny? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Who's this Horatio fellow, eh? What are you talking about? Excuse me. What? Who are you now? I'm sorry, it just looked as though there might be some problem here. And my associate here, Mr. Renosuke Naruto, is a lawyer, you see. Hey, a lawyer? What? Oh, if I could be of any assistance, I'll be happy to help. I'm from Japan and I've studied English law. Fine, I'll be on my way. For today. But you mark my words. This ain't over! Get thee to the nunya. Do I look like a plumbing nun to you? Fucking Popeye and Hamlet are having a fight. I do hope you're not injured. Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle, thank you. What is that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. I'm not Horatio either. Forgive the inquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here? In the Gibbon residence? Fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. Mr. Gibbon mentioned he had another lodger, didn't he? Supposed to be the man. Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor? Oh yes, a gentleman named Natsume. More worthy of published, and my better words, never could there be. Sorry? Battle, did you say? Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night. I see. I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least. So, fair maiden, so good gentlemen, I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well! I didn't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room. Seems he's unaware of what's happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. With Sosuke-san and the man, that man as loggers, the Gibbon house is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyway, I'll go and find a carriage. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our return. Let's hope we could get to the prison before visiting hours are over. 19th February, 6:31 p.m. Local prison, cell 9. Oh, it's you! You're here, you came! Locum a student, Mr. Naruto Esquire. I can't believe you came back! I'm so touched! We're so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume. Oh no, nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr of pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never failing Nipponese! Oh, now let's not get carried away. Oh? Who is this? It's a through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the fact. Such is my belief, at least. It's you! The miserable rotten spy! Schlock Schlums! Mr. Schlums, what are you doing here? I have no intention of doing anything per se. Save observing, of course. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Schlums? Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room, and having unmasked the secret identity of the eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see how our divested friend is faring. Gloomful room. At least your combination here offers a window. My dear fellow, in that sense, it is a superior option. Anyway, I must condemn you to your taste in books. My day has been a delight, and cost me not a penny. Are you? How dare you, Herlock Schlums! I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits of those accursed lodgings. No doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life is bedamned! What are you thinking, Mr. Naruto? He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean? And there's much truth in Mr. Mustache's words. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say. For the man's lodgings, and indeed for tomorrow's trial. What's that supposed to mean? Okay, present. Let's present in that. We found this receipt in your room, Mr. Natsumi. That's right. I went out to buy some new books. Is that a contradiction in terms? And it was on your way back to your room that you saw the woman being stabbed? She's dead! I thought to myself, she's dead! My mind went completely blank. Before I knew it, I was back in my room, trembling like a leaf. Bertram hoping to worm his way out of a bad situation. Mr. Naruto, please do be careful not to think such disparaging thoughts. How could you possibly know? Let's see here. I don't think we know anything about that. Okay. Let's converse with him. Cursed lodgings, cursed trial. Mr. Natsumi, what do you mean by what you said just now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed? Oh no! Why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. I was just getting carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, I see. That's really agitated him. You don't mean the trial really is cursed somehow? Are you referring to the prosecutor? The Reaper of the Bailey? The Reaper? Oh no. What do you mean? Please tell me! Summarize and squiggling in 16 sizzling words! No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for prosecution. Ever. Oh my goodness! Could it really be true? That was 16 words exactly! Yesterday, Mr. Naruto successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Mr. McGlynn. What? Well, I am impressed, Miss Susato. You have an eye for detail. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Mr. Slomes? Surely it can't be that, having failed to have accused conviction, Lord Van Zieks killed the man himself. Oh no, he couldn't have. Surely. Yeah, such wonderful notions. Sorry? The man isn't a mass murderer. He's a court prosecutor, my fellow. Oh, yes. Why, of course he is. Ah! Of course he is! Then why are you trying to scare me? Should be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. What on earth do you mean by that? The Reaper. We must fear him, apparently. Van Zieks is a quite exceptional man. However, in London court of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. That's good. Suzuki looks like he's going to cry tears of joy. As you are no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial, there is both a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system whereby the defendant's guilty and is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated. Right. Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage by any means at their disposal, and contriving evidence, calling in imposters as witnesses, and so on. By such underhanded means, those who would want to are able to sway the jury, which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail. But it means the wrong verdict can be passed. And sadly, as from time to time, my dear madam, it's simply the reality of the situation. And that's alright? However, those indicted by Lord Van Zieks cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed. Oh my. Though the junction may see themselves leave the courtroom with their freedom, within months, they all disappear. It is most striking. Disappear? But how? By all matter of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever. Or perhaps attacked by highwaymen. Oh, no. All examples of reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Nardo. I know it. I am a dead todo done for doom. Poor guy. When you say accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Gribben's house, I assume? Do you mean to say you believe the place is cursed? It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain. But I've only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. It didn't take long then. Everywhere I looked, there were 40 faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me, all the time from dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room, but even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away. You must have been very lonely, having been away from your homeland for such a long time. I'd had to move a number of times. Most certainly to the room on Brim Road a week ago now. Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money. It appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simmered and said, "The room is cursed." Oops. He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late. So I told him, "If you have something to say, then say it! But if not, don't mention it in the first place!" Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean the room really is cursed then? Ever since I moved in the windowless hellhole. Cecil! Cecil, I'm so happy to see you. My sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I awaken feeling as though I'm being choked to death. And in my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits! If only there was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? Really, no one at all? To believe? Yes. To believe. You love Luigi's Mansion? Oh my god. Babe, we could play with Luigi's Mansion. I could bring it over. I have the third game. I played it before, babe. We could play it. To believe. Oh. Mr. Shlomes? Me? Mr. Naruto? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about the case on the SS Bruya, if you recall. The Bruya. The Bruya. Ah, that case. The one with a snake. Well, yes. At that time, I was the suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us to investigate. I did I? Interesting. What I want to know is why. Why did you believe me? I see, well, yes. You mean because you were a grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with a victim in a locked room? Well, if you like, yes. I'm a little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said I didn't do it. But I could have been lying. Surely you would must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor in that which you were telling me. What? You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in. What do you mean, Mr. Shlomes? I make up my own mind about what is to believe and not what is not. So if I would like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I am concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. In that case, I should have an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse, in my opinion. Meaning, whether or not one should trust another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one could trust oneself. Yes, he's right! He's right! Locum student Mr. Naruto, Esquire! Whether or not I could believe myself. Defense lawyer is only as good as his fate and his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. You're so right, Cosmo. Oh, let's go to the wind on my face. Well, my dear fellows, it is time for me, it is time we were leaving, I believe. Already? Visiting hours are over. The guards will be here shortly to escort us out. There is a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? Oh dear. There's never enough time, is there? Mr. Natsumi? If you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you. And welcome, student Mr. Naruto Esquire. As I said, I only experienced a British courtroom for the first time yesterday. And although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial? What to believe in? The defendant, justice, or the truth? How to believe, even. But I think I've finally worked it out. I decided I must believe in myself above all else, to trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruto! My instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsumi, are innocent of this crime. It's imperative that we prove that in court. Welcome, a student, Mr. Naruto Esquire. We'll fight for your innocence till the bitter end, with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue. Of course, Mr. Natsumi. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruto, that your mind was, in many ways, made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of the day to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Mr. Sato? Yes? Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court? Absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant. He's so cute with that little thing. Like, woo! Reminds me of Sonic when he beats this game. He always does this. Woo! The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind. But it's time to stop looking backward. Cosmo believed in me, and Mr. Sloane's believe in me too. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. Sasaki-san has no one. He's all alone. So it's my job to help him fight in his corner. Tomorrow, in the courtroom, with all the strength I can muster. To be continued. Okay, so that means we're gonna take a short break. But Azazel, what do you want me to put for an image? I know you sent me something. Babe, what do you want me to put in? I can't. You have to redeem 3 in order to put all 3 of these in. Which one do you want in? Babe, seriously, what do you want me to put on here? Last one, okay. Oh yeah. Didn't you like show me like something like this? I recall you showing me something stupid like that. It was great. It was really funny. It was a very haha. It's very kafa. Okay. Gonna put some things here. I showed you the lore. Yeah, I remember the lore. I don't remember it, but I remember enough of it to be like fussed up laughing. Okay. Yeah, that's a little too Okay, it's not big enough for that quite, so I just gotta do that. There we go. I gotta make sure it's under everything else. Is it? It looks like it is. That's good. He looks like he's under everything. Okay. Alright, thank you, Azazel, for the picture redemption. And yes, I'm gonna get more water. Everyone have a nice little break. We will convene back here in like, what, 2-3 minutes? Okay. Door is locked. A formal reminder to always stay hydrated, right? I've been doing that. Whatchamacallit? Whenever I have these voice acting things with either Danganronpa, Ace Attorney, or various other things like that, I always try to make sure to be as hydrated as I can. Because it hurt my voice. It hurt it. But I am back. Thank you, Azazel, for reminders. And I almost forgot to put this thing in. This is my handy dandy listening device. Oh, what up? It's a well-known fact that Californians are afraid of water falling from the sky. It's true. I'm always wondering what that thing is. Anyway, what up, Sonic THP? It's so great to see you. It's been a while. We need to hang out sometime soon again. It was fun hanging out that one time playing Smash. Want to play Smash some more with you and such. Here we go. The trial. Yeah, Zazel, this is my once former mate and now friend from a con way back when. If you ever come over and visit Zazel, wink wink nudge nudge, say no more. You could probably meet Sonic THP. So that'd be cool. 20th February, 9:23 a.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. I never expected this. Would have thought we'd be back here so soon. We are on a study tour of Great Britain with the intention of learning the country's legal practices. You get rocked by Palutena some more? Yeah, baby! Pretty Lady Palutena! In order to research the latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible. Well, yes, I suppose that's true, but for the person on the dock, it may well be his or her own, maybe his or her one and only time in court, and it could be life-changing. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass. Oh, when you put it like that, you're quite right. Oh? Mr. Natsumi, good morning. I like how he always looks through his shoulders and everything. Like, this dude's so paranoid. He's so twitchy. Fucking Edgar Allan Poe ass motherfucker. Oh dear. Are you alright? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. The early bird catches the worm, as they say here in Great Britain. He looks like a half-orc. I love him, babe. I love you so much. The fuck isn't even that insult? It's such a mean insult too. Like, fuck. Well, yes, I've heard that expression. But I really don't want to catch the worm. So I tried desperately to wake up early, but I was so worried I couldn't catch a week. And now I'm absolutely exhausted as a result. So all literary people take things so literally? Thank you for putting your fate in us today, Mr. Natsumi. I wish I had 9 lives! My whole future hangs in the balance. I'm too terrified to tremble! Really? Because I could feel tremors in the floor. I can't do this. I can't take it. Although, locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire. Yes? I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by a courtroom. It looked like the opening night of an opera. There were so many people. I had no idea my case was such a notorious affair here in London. Jojo poses an anxiety? That is what he's doing! Fuck. But that ain't an observation, right? Oh, neither did I. Do you know why that might be, Mrs. Sato? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruto. I have no idea. So the all-knowing look on your face is just coincidence then, is it? Don't hide the truth from me! It's because the Reaper is in it. Sounds like an self-defense mechanism. Ward away the predators. Yeah, it's to make yourself look big. That's what it is. You just JoJo pose to look bigger. I don't know. I don't know how to JoJo pose. I don't watch JoJo. I'm not bi. Lord Van Zeeks? Is that right, Mrs. Sato? I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Van Zeeks is on the front of the page of every one. I knew it. Sometime after the prosecutor was dead, the Reaper of the Bailey. He stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday. Yes, Inspector Grayson told us something similar, didn't he? You don't have to watch JoJo to know JoJo poses. I mean, while true... That's all I got. Trial 2 days ago marked Lord Van Zeek's return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. The trial of Magnus McGlynn. What a harrowing experience that was. I believe that appearance made even greater waves here in the capital than today's. We wouldn't have realized, of course, having only just arrived in the country. Why is the Reaver back in the Bailey so soon, for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question the papers are asking, and they're all speculating at various answers. Mundane! Mundane! Is the most significant saga of the century in some of us! Oh dear. I mean no offense, Mr. Natsumi, but that is how the papers are describing it. Well, at least we also forget the fact that it could spark an international incident. Obviously, the reappearance of this infamous prosecutor has caught people's attention. But there's another blatant similarity with the trial of 2 days ago. Yes, I agree. Locum, student Mr. Naruto Esquire. It's you! Me? I suppose that's true. Both times, it is you who stands against this designated prosecutor. It can only mean that you're friends with the Reaper! Please, I don't rub shoulders with dead ringers. I'm afraid there's really only one other explanation. It could be only another example, Mr. Naruto, of your uncommon bad luck. Thanks for that. Oh, this is just my luck. Why must I be represented by a man with a fair fortune? By the least lucky lawyer alive! Well, let's not forget that it was you, Mr. Natsumi, who asked me to represent you. Yes, it's true that I'm just a student, new to London, with little in the way of experience, or skills, or luck. But I promise you this. I will fight your corner until the bitter end. I will believe in you, Mr. Natsumi. Oh, beloved locum student, Mr. Naruto Esquire. Not alone here with us, Mr. Natsumi. Whatever happens, we will always be on your side. Oh, beloved non-locum assistant Miss Mikotoba Esquarius. I am in your debt forever! I shall never forget this, Harry.
Mr. Natsumi, counsel for the defense. The court session is about to begin. Kindly make your way into the courtroom at once.
Alright then, Mr. Natsumi. It's time. Let's go.
Yes!
I feel like that voice is very annoying and I apologize. This is it. My second appearance in a British courtroom. Ugh, British. And my second trial against the Reaper. Hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because this time, I won't let my fate waver. I'll believe in my client to the last. It's fitting though, thank you! I try to make things fitting for people. It's hard. Just like believed in me. I believe I could do this now. I'm ready for this fight. I think my girlfriend's gonna simp over this next person coming up. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive Azazel are gonna like this dude. Almost positive I'm gonna think he's attractive. Like, I'm 90%. 80%. 85%. 20th February, 10 a.m. The Old Bailey Courtroom.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the consuls for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed. Sorry, what? Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you're a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago. A mere amateur. Do you have a point? Being a patriot, you feel compelled to try to help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance. Forgive me, but I do believe arrogance isn't an appropriate description. Susanto-san. After all, at our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent. He's just so dramatic. Very well. And a most fascinating, if dark, trial it was too. The tragic conclusion came later, of course. Here's to the acquainted. Here's to the acquitted, and it's an unfortunate, violent end. The Edgeworth almost made me want to buy the game. Oh, you haven't bought this game yet? I'm surprised you haven't, because, like, this Edgeworth is like, so far he's really good. I like him. Yeah, I thought you would. Do you not? Well, I guess I just don't know your taste in men. I don't know what taste in people's men. I don't get it. 2 other homos came in here. Homos that I know. Hence why I call them a homo. And they're all like, oh, this guy's hot. I don't get it. I don't know. I don't understand men likers. I don't understand men likers. What is the like? I don't. He looks like Alucard. Yeah, he looks like Alucard. I think he's cool looking. He's cool looking like a vampire, but attractive. Or Vega. Yeah, I like Vega. Yeah. Thank you, consuls. I see both sides are in fine fettle. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you ready to carry out your duties here in the court as impartial members of the public? Maybe he had long hair. Okay. You never know what you might be down on your luck. I believe in fair play for everyone. Well, I must warn you, I am rather more ruthless than I appear. Oh, well, not me. But what you see is what you get. I'm a peace-loving fellow. I'm afraid to say I think it's quite possible the mustache forwarder did the deed. Come on, what are you waiting for? No doubt he did it, anyway. Sorry, didn't quite catch that. Very well, let us proceed. Your opening statement, if you please, Lord Van Zieks. Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with a rising power in the Far East. The accused in the dock today is a student from the same line, certain Mr. Suseki Natsu. And while our country has extended this foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably the kindness has not been returned. In fact, the student is accused of the most sinister act of plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street. A knife crime, I tell you from bitter experience. Those are the worst bloody yofa they are. Just look at that shallow complexion and short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese. Come on, let's get this over with. With me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Hey, sorry. Didn't quite catch that. Dude, the janitor has to clean up those clumps you threw. I mean, he's not exactly a good person, it seems like. Pray forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hollow chalice here in this great chamber. Allow me to call the first witness to the stand. Very well. Bailiff, lead the inspector in, please.
Oh, we're doing this thing. I'll call back to Ace Attorney where we get one of these people's.
Your name and occupation, please. Yes, sir. Tobis Grayson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard. Would you please summarize the events of the case for the court, Inspector? The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green. Beg your pardon, Inspector. Thought to be. Yes, having been stabbed in the back by an attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now, and she's been comatose ever since.
This guy has a physique of a bowling pin. He does! But he's also eating taters, and it makes me want to eat taters. What? So they don't even know who she is for sure?
Comatose, I see. But her life is not in danger? Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Hurry, elaborate on the details, Inspector. So, if I could ask everyone to look on the street map. As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago. At around 5 in the afternoon, it happened on the pavement of running along Brain Road. Wide door front for horse-driven vehicles. It had not long since stopped snowing on this victim. Miss Green was walking down the street. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Luckily, the young lady's life was spared. She's currently being treated in one of those city hospitals. Being unconscious as she is, we'd been unable to take a statement from her, if, of course. This is the case file with everything we know about the victim so far. Thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence, if you please.
You got the case file.
What of the weapon that was used? So, I have it. It was removed from the victim's back. Ouch. The big thing is starting to make me scared to walk down the street now. With a heavy bait like that, almost anybody would have been able to stab a poor woman. And the scrawny-looking Sasuke-san, I suppose. A common or garden check knife, I would say, rather nondescript. Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blade as evidence. Now then, what do we know of the motive? Money or valuables, I presume? From what I could tell by looking at the woman's possessions, seems she's a poor student herself. I'd imagine she would have anything much worth pinching, my lord. I see. Well, in that case, are we looking at some deep-seated resentment towards the victim? Afraid I couldn't say. Apart from a visit second-hand bookshops, the defendant, Mr. Natsumi, doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim.
Yes! If that grievance had been ruled out as a motive, what reason could Mr. Natsumi possibly have had to, for stabbing the young woman? He arrests the man in spite of that, in a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way.
Objection!
Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery, but your words have soured its hallowed banquet.
What an asshole! Yeah.
For it is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy-handed here.
What?
Scotland Yard does not arrest people without good case. That should be beyond question.
Inspector Grayson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. Explain to the court precisely why the constabulary came to arrest the Nipponese student. Yes, sir. Look at his taters. As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred, and there was unusually light fog. Visibility was reasonably good, but there's no one else around about and the victim and the accused. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. Those being a number of old books he had just bought. He was on his way home from the bookshop, it seems. It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the book to arrest. Old books, you say? Yes, my lord. I have a photograph here of the scene of the crime, taken immediately after the incident. Yes, I can clearly see the books to which you are referring. I will take the photographic print as evidence. Please, Inspector. You Nipponese are a spineless breed. Too coward to admit defeat. Denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Well, forgive me, Lord Van Zeeks, but the defendant is not denying everything, as you put it. What are you doing, Mrs. Sato? Do go on. Mr. Natsume has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruto? Well, now that you mention it, when we visited him in the prison yesterday, he did tell us, what had all happened. As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I couldn't make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat. She has, and just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed under the cold hard slabs of stone on my feet. I was terrified. I had to get out of there. So I ran as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings. A green overcoat. Well, that's exactly what the woman in the print was wearing. Oh my, a photographic print in full color. What will the word I come up with next? The defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. That does not mean he is guilty of the heinous crime of stabbing the woman in the back. There was nobody else there at the time, just the two of them. The victim and the accused. In other words, there's nobody else who could possibly have stabbed the woman. A fact that the accused concedes. It seems this cross-examination could prove to be a pivotal, Counsel. Proceed, please. Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I have to use this cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance. Here we go. Okay, 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred, but there is unusually light fog. Let's hear more about the fog. A light fog, you say? Well, light for London. You could see the opposite side of the street for once. Not much further up. That's light? Is it? Around these parts, yes. Not something I expect a Japanese fellow like yourself to know, of course. Read that London is famous for its fog. But in my country, people usually imagine that gives a city a rather beautiful appearance. How quaint. Yes, well, it's not something us Londoners tend to romanticize, so I expect you can appreciate. I see. At this time of year,
The fog causes a large number of incidents, especially when it's heavy. Sometimes you can't even see your own hand at the end of your arm. Indeed. The other day I was very nearly trampled by horses before I could see the carriage they were pulling. It's not the sound, and I should definitely remember to stop, look, and listen. However, the day that concerns us, the fog was somewhat lighter than usual. A fact no doubt lamented by the accused.
Okay, visibility was good. There's no one else with the victim in the queues.
Hold it!
Okay. Are you able to state that with any certainty?
Quite simply, my learned friend. Because that is what the witness to this crime have told us.
Yes, Inspector Grayson mentioned the witnesses yesterday, didn't he? That's right. One of them is a policeman, I believe. From Scotland Yard?
That is correct, ma'am.
Then we must hear their testimony. Prosecution will, of course, call them to the stand, should it be necessary. But wait a minute! At 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of winter, it would have been dark already. No matter how light the fog might have been, no one could have seen.
I'm unaware of the situation at a tiny island in the east. But here in the capital city of Great Britain, all main roads are illuminated in light by gas street lights.
Ah!
The prosecution believes that would be an ample light by which to witness the crime. Right. Here in London, for the first time in history, mankind has completely conquered the darkness.
Which means we really need to hear those witness statements. If I could just get through the fog of this cross-examination, maybe I'll be able to.
Seems the counsel for the defense is taking stock. Continue with your testimony, Inspector.
Out of the blue.
Hold it!
From behind, you say?
That's right, as you can see from this print. Yes, quite so. Inspector, the handle of the weapon is clearly protruding out from the victim's back. And you say this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in a critical condition?
Oddly bloodless for a stab wound. Yeah, that's Ace Attorney for you. Family-friendly murder. You know? Family-friendly.
You say this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in a critical condition? Comatose, no less. I'm afraid so, my lord. Yes, she's been treated as bots. I was hopeful that she'd come around before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be. Yes, that is indeed a pity. It would have been most illuminating to hear the victim's own account of events. Luck is on your client's side, it seems.
On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky.
Your force of tone is certainly undetermined, undermined by those disturbingly wide eyes, I'm afraid.
Brandon scattered his belongings all over the floor.
Hold it!
Mr. Dunstable's belongings?
Think you'll find it's all there in the photographic print of the crime scene? Yes, the 3 books on the floor. That's right, my lord. Second-hand books, they were. Intermittently damaged after falling in the snow, of course. The accused could easily have carried all 3 books in one hand. Which means his other hand would have been free to wield a knife, for example.
He's very clever, isn't he?
What do you mean?
He's made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsumi had his hands full with his books. He's managed to close the one avenue of escape we might have had before we even knew it was there.
You mean to say the defendant was holding his belongings as he thrusted the knife into the woman's back? That must be what happened, my lord.
Number of old books he just bought. Mm-hmm.
Hold it!
God. What? Oh, I want air conditioning so bad. I want air conditioning so much. Why can't I have air conditioning? I don't know. I'll do this real quick. There we go. Like literally, yes. I am absolutely just like temperature hot. I would like to be cooled. The defendant apparently visit a second-hand book shop on a daily basis.
Yes, so I understand. A shop full of old English literature. Commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention.
You're already cool. I'm not cool. I need to be cooler. I need temperature control of my house. Oh, I need it so badly just to have that. Oh, that'd be a dream. It's the one thing I want in life.
The bloke's room was stacked floor to ceiling with those musky old books.
Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector?
Well, if I must, I'll have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid. The closest second-hand bookshop to the accused's lodgings is the place here. Reuben Books. Little place on the corner of Brent Road and Muskegon Street. As it happens, the accused is currently living in lodgings on the other side of Bryn Road, on the opposite end. Which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the route he would have taken home. Something like this. Yes, I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. The defendant would certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home from that particular shop.
Mr. Nardo, I think that what the inspector just told us could turn out to be vital importance.
Yes, I agree. The most important point that the inspector just made being...
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that.
Couldn't agree more.
So where is it exactly? I have to repress that.
Are you with me up, sunshine? I just explained that. Got the map out and everything. Used red blooming ink. Drew the bloke's route home on for you. Distinctly remember seeing you nod along, Consul.
Oh, yes! Yes, of course. Must have been nervous. I didn't take it in.
The blunder of the day goes to you, my London friend.
No, not yet. Trial's only just begun, after all. Mr. Nardo, I would strongly advise you to look carefully through the court record at the stage.
Yes, miss. At once, miss. Sorry I made a mistake, miss.
Inspector, continue with your statement. Testimony, please. Well, this doesn't matter. This part doesn't matter as much. This does.
Hold it!
We need to press on this again and get to the part. God dang it. I had to be sleeping on that. Had to be sleeping on it. Just instantly happened. Please. Yeah, I don't think that's the route he actually took. I think that's the problem. See, this is the problem, is I was trying to like end it and then I actually didn't press the A button. The book stock? The bookshop stock? The name? Your books. Oh. The bookshop's name, then. It has to be that. Inspector Grayson, may I ask you a favor? What? Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of vital importance. Maybe. Oh, well, you know, I mean, yes! It would be a very important clue. Very well. Not that I can see it being any great insignificance. Please revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector. Yes, sir, my lord. Whatever you say. Could the man be any more, sardonic? What does sardonic mean? He was on the way from... Nope, he was not. We know that for a fact. But he was not. If we see, it says your books.
Objection! Use
your sword. Whooshing! We do have a sword. I wish he does use it. I hope he does. If I could just stop you there, Inspector Grayson? What is it, Sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know? This is a receipt that we found in Mr. Natsumi's room. It was issued on the day of the incident, and details of the purchase of 3 second-hand books. You found that on the kid's room, did you? Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it. Those fish and chips look so good. Right? They do! They look just like taters and I want to eat them! You know, like... Go on. This receipt was issued from the bookshop called Your Books. Your Books. I assume? Yes, my lord. So, Mr. Natsumi did indeed purchase a number of books on a second-hand bookshop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books. Eh, what? Good British fish and chips are a revelation. I feel like fish and chips is the only thing that the British people did right. Like, generally speaking. Yes, sir. Your Books is another second-hand bookshop not far from Bourbon Books. It's just that, well, it's such a small place. I didn't think the accused would have known about it.
Objection.
But in fact, that is the bookshop where which the defendant visited on the day in question. And the receipt proves it.
Objection.
Yes, for what difference it makes. Whatever the man purchases musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis.
Objection.
I disagree. I mean, after all, I have the street map here, if that might be of help. Oh, yes, of course. Thank you. Have a look at this, please. The defendant had been returning from Bourbon Books. Then yes, he would almost certainly have passed the place where Miss Green was attacked. However, we take into account the fact that he was actually at another bookshop, Your Books. He may very well turn out that he hadn't been past that location at all. Will that be true? My, it rather depends on whether the other bookshop is. But I do declare it may be a possibility. Bangers and mash? Squish and chips? Oh my gosh. Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? What you just said? Absolutely. It absolutely could be right. Inspector Grayson, where is this Your Books establishment? Well, obviously, we looked into that. Turns out that Your Books is just here on the corner of, Bencham, Street, going east. Aha. See. There you have it, as you clearly see now. Oh. My learned Nipponese friend is obviously in training to be a clown. The way he relegates us with such witticisms. To your future career in the circus. Fuck! Fuck! Damn, is that not just like a burn? Like, fuck, dude. Oh my god. You put the glass down, or I'll put it down for you. I, didn't think I needed to spell it out, but here we go. The Hughes was coming home from your books instead of bourbon books. There's no doubt he still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed. Yes, thank you, Inspector. Now let me to reiterate for my learned, if somewhat slow, Nipponese friend. At least he doesn't call him Oriental. Whatever the man purchases, musty tomes, makes no difference in the final analysis. As I suspected, you couldn't fool me. I don't suggest you try. What he said, hmm? I'd had enough of this now. Beg your pardon. I'm terribly sorry, but would you mind repeating that? Mr. Naruto, we mustn't give up. What do you mean? The prosecution assertion is correct. The members of the jury may very well decide that Mr. Natsumi is guilty. She's absolutely right. We must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully. The claim, Suzuki-san must have passed the location of the incident on his way home from your books, but raise an objection. We gots to. The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed. Explain yourself, Consul. Well, yes, my lord. You can see what I mean on the map. Returned from your books to his lodgings. Mr. Natsumi could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take between the two places. The defendant used these streets. Look what happens. He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked.
Objection!
Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. I feel compelled to point out that route is what is commonly referred to as the long way around. On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home? Well, the answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings and is the obvious perpetrator of this crime.
Objection!
But, yes, I got it. Obviously, we must ask the man himself. Ask Mr. Natsumi which route he took home. Already informed the court of the accused's response to such questioning. Claims he has no recollection. That's right. As I said, the bloke seems to spend his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no exception. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home. I don't believe this! It's butter, everybody. Nah, I can't believe it's not butter. I thank you, my learned friend. Suggest that we'd not waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around this subject. Pray, what say you, insightful jurors? But even if that is the case, the defense still... Oh no, the jury's at us.
The jury hates us. I agree with Lord Van Zeeks. Wholeheartedly and in every way. What? I don't believe it. Does this mean we members of the jury are completely convinced now? Very well, in the case, I hereby call upon all members of the jury to proceed your findings to the court.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Fuck!
Game over, yeah? It would appear the jury's leanings is unanimous. To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve Queen and country admirably. Mr. Naruto. No, not yet. This isn't over yet. I still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury.
He's doing it again. We're doing it again. Hail Mary, baby! Whoosh!
To tip the balance of the scales the other way, I have to turn this around. Somehow. Those are the eyes of Query, not yet willing to give up and die. So I presume you intend to wield your rights. Yes, in this trial. Rights of the defense, written into adequate British law that should have been buried long ago. Call adequate if you will, but it's the defense's prerogative to carry out a summation examination if it so chooses. Very well, Consul. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with the summation and examination. Are the members of the jury here are ready, Mr. Foreman? Of course we're ready. I'm all too familiar with the Nipponese whippersnapper and his Oku's refusal to throw in his alley. Very well then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty.
I bet one of these is gonna be racist. Watch. Watch.
For pity's sake, the little Nipponese oddity already admitted it himself, didn't he?
He said the woman in green collapsed before his eyes. Why, it could only have been the victim.
The man went out gotten around the house on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter.
So the poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful.
Really don't care. Can't we just wrap this up now? I got work to be doing.
Yeah, books, yes. A nice shop that would burn books and not worth a play, not worth a visit.
Oh, not worth a visit. Ooh.
Only minor exceptions. The reasonings for finding the defendant guilty are all too clear. When the stabbing occurred, the only two people in the scene were the victim and the accused. And the accused himself has admitted to seeing the victim in his green overcoat sink to the ground before his eyes. Furthermore, we have heard from the inspector that the defendant fled the scene. I must say, I would have ample grounds to convince this man already.
Oh dear, even the judge appears convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt.
Why do we have to run away like that? How are we supposed to believe in some phantom attacker that nobody could see? This is impossible. How could I possibly have a case for a defense?
Mr. Naruto, this is no time for grumbling. If we want to force the trial to continue.
Yes, I know. I have to turn the tide. I must make the jurors change their minds. Well, 4 of them at least.
Exactly. We have no choice but to forge forward.
You have the floor, Consul. Bring a summation examination. Yes, my lord.
just need to keep this trial going somehow. Whatever it takes. Come on, Renosuke. You could do it. I don't know. He just looks like a boy with a sword when he's there, just like. Defense's rebuttal. And the green collapsed before his eyes. Like it only had been the victim. The man would have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter. Renosuke is more my type than Count Druncula over there. Oh, really? You like useless boys? Is that what it is? Alright, duly noted. Attack from behind. She was how dreadful. I got work to be doing. I feel like this one's gonna be like pitted. Alright, noted. Useless boys.
Hold it!
A man's life is on the line here, sir. This'll, take as long as it takes. Don't get clever with me now, son. My life's on the line, too. So is my family's. Ah. The likes of you wouldn't understand, but a laborer like me can't afford to take time off. If I don't work, I don't eat. And neither do the wife and kids. No, I see. That must be very hard. Go to the union every morning to find out what needs doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, there's water and gas supply. Pipes bursting left and right center. They're after cheap labor to get the roads dug up to fix it. It's a hard slog from dawn till dusk it is. So, you were digging up the roads on the days of the incident as well? Were you? That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just around the corner from where it all happened. By the old bookshop it was. What? Another coincidence. That's right. Merchant Street it was. Merchant Street? On the map, Mr. Nado, there are only 3 named streets. Juror number 5, I need you to add that information to your formal statement, please. What's the point in that? Can't you, we get to this business over with now? Please, sir, it's important. Fine, I'll do it then. So that was something we definitely needed to do. From dawn till dusk. Should we press that again? I think we should press it again. I know we need to pit it. Not in winter. He was working on it. So if he was working on that little thing right there, that means that the road work would have probably been in the way and he wouldn't have been able to go. But there's not enough to really go about it, you know? So but you can't deny that there are other routes Mr. Natsumi could have taken from your books. Ah, yes. Like you drew on the map, you mean? What was it? Cowbish Road or something? Precisely. It seems to me that what counts is whether the little Japanese fellow actually went that way or not. Well, yes, that's true. And at the moment, there's no proof that shows he did, is there? Well, yes, that's true as well. As I understand it, the accused himself doesn't remember which way he went, does he? Well, yes, that's annoyingly true. Winter nights are dark and cold, so the way I see it, you'd want to get home as quickly as possible. Well, yes, why is that all true? So really, the only thing that makes sense is that he went home along Brim Road. So what to be convincing you here? I've given a lot of thought, you know. I don't just make up my mind on a whim that he did. I mean, if there's some logical reason why he might have gone to the Cowbush Road way, it'd be different.
I'd be happy to reconsider my position in that case. Honestly, I would. Reason why Sasuke-san might have taken the longer way home.
But you do have evidence against it, road work. Yeah. I don't, well, I might have to pull out more information.
It's a good reason. I don't imagine you'll be able to sway this young man's opinion without one.
Okay. So I'm gonna, like, I was digging up Merchant Street from dawn till dusk.
Hold it!
I need to know more about this construction work.
So if I understand correctly, you're a day laborer and you were doing road maintenance that day? That's right. Like I said, you get a lot of burst gas and water pipes underground in the middle of winter. It's the time of year fellas like me can actually make a few bob. I'm missing out today.
Take the long way home to see pretty ladies. Everyone knows exactly. Honestly, the fact that they're just like, no, there's no way. It's kind of like, he could just do it for scenic reasons, you know?
When you say from dawn till dusk,
Well, look, has to be completed within that day, you see?
no coaches or pedestrians can pass while it's happening.
What if it could trouble you, sir?
To mark on the street map the exact location of the works you were carrying out. Give it here then. Let me have a look. Right, let's see here. Here we are. Merchant Street. Yes, it was just, like... It's a tidy dig, I can tell you. We had to get through all the drifts of snow and that had frozen solid. Now, what sort of time did you finish the work? Well, we started in the morning and we couldn't have finished before gone 6, I'd say. Snow had stopped coming down, but it was a long past dark for sure.
That means the roadwork was still going on when Miss Green was attacked around 5 o'clock.
Roadworks on Merchant Street, huh?
From dawn to dusk. Only court record. Okay, yep. Not in the winter. Boom.
Objection!
Those two statements are clearly on odds with one another. At odds, counsel? Explain yourself.
Please don't point. It wasn't me, I swear.
What? I just wanted to get this done and dusted. Well, juror number 3. Me, sir? What do you mean? Juror number 5's words are now are extremely significant. Let's take a moment to consider the implications of what's been said on our map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsumi visited this bookshop to purchase a number of secondhand books. On the same day, we now know that there are works being carried out on Merchant Street, making it impassable, which means the defendant's route home could not have taken him alongside Merchant Street and down Brim Road. Oh yes, of course! And what do you think, sir? Well, yes, can't argue with that really, can you? Must have gone 2 yards or more of the pavement. Every gentleman and woman that came along had to be turned back and go the other way. So the only conclusion is the defendant must have taken the longer route back for his lodgings. Yes, I suppose he must have. I suppose he must be right, eh? Juror number 3, you said the following. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, but we see now that he had no choice. Yes. My lord, my judge, sir, if I may. Yes. I don't think it in my all good consciousness that I could say the man's guilty now. Yes, I'd like to see this trial continue so we could get to the bottom of what really happened. Boo! We got one! Do-do-do-do! How? How? I'm so glad to see you. How? Cam on England. Yeah, right.
What about you, sir?
What will be? Well, alright then. There's a hole in the prosecution's argument. Should be filled in. That's what I say.
Yay! It's getting closer. Oh, well done, Mr. Nardo. That was wonderful. We managed to change a couple of minds at least. Showing the position somewhat. Yes, and we'll be prompt the other members of the jury to reconsider their stance as well. Be asking themselves if their current leanings are really right or not. Now, if we could just identify one more clue or a discrepancy that would make them stop doubting Mr. Natsumi. Oh my god, oh thank you for this description a bit. This is describing this. Much obliged. Thank you. We might be able to tip the balance completely. Yes, that's right. What we gotta do now. Kansix is looking to bring this trial to an early conclusion. That's what we have to prevent. Whatever means we have at our disposal.
Thank you, Consul. With the summation examination, please.
Yes, my lord. Okay. If he said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why it could only have been the victim? The lunatic has already admitted himself, didn't he? Poor one was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful. It seems like he would be closer to it, but like, I think we need to like go with Mr. Fairplay, is because I could see her also being a part of it too. But yeah.
Hold it!
Excuse me, but aren't you?
Yes, that's right. I was the witness stand with myself just 2 days ago.
You had question 6? Okay, question 6. I was still gonna question next, actually. Can't stay too long tonight because school. No, I'm sorry to hear about your school, Hal, but thank you for showing. I always appreciate people showing up and just saying a hi, how do you do? That's honestly all I really need. That's all the attention you need to give me. Just a nice little pat. Just nice little head pat. You know, that's it. That's all I need. I started feeling I knew your face, or the side of it already. Anyway, if I remember correctly, you're a banker, aren't you?
That's right. After the gold rush down under, came back to London to work. It was all going swimmingly until you started fossicking around. Bruce Fairplay was a man of repute.
Sorry?
Don't think I've forgotten how you treated me the other day.
Headsets are top tier. What? Head pats. I was about to say. Headsets.
You had me and the young hatter pegged as criminals.
Oh, if only someone pegged me. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't have to be a criminal. Oh, well, you know, water under the bridge.
Now, there's all sorts of rumors buzzing around. The police have been badgering me non-stop.
If I could turn back the clock.
Well, anyway, I don't know about the hatter, but at least I'm in the clear now. I'm free to make up my own mind about who's guilty and who isn't.
Thank goodness. Alright. Oh, God! Why did you bug me? I didn't do nothing! Maybe I might struggle to change this man's mind, given our awkward history. Oh dear. I wonder what's become of Mr. First now. So I can't convince him. We'll you know what? No, I'm gonna actually go against what my GF has said. Bonk is just a quick head pat. No, it's not! Pegging? What about pegging? Ain't nothing wrong with pegging.
Hold it!
Bonk on the head, no bonks. You're right at the time of. You're right that that at the time of the incident, the defendant admits to having seen someone wearing a green overcoat walking ahead of him. Look, why? That's precisely my point.
Clearly the someone wearing green was the victim. And clearly that funny little Nipponese man with the disturbing mustache is the culprit.
Let us not forget, madam, the defendant vehemently denies attacking the woman.
Why, of course he does. If he admits to stabbing her, his life is over. That man is obviously a livid, faced coward, honestly claiming the woman simply collapsed before his eyes.
And if that's a lie, as you're suggesting, do you not think he would have concocted something more credible?
Oh, I really couldn't say. After all, you are foreign. Who's to say what goes through your funny little minds?
I could tell you that what's going through my funny little mind right now, but you wouldn't like it.
I do declare that the man has already made some admission. He himself has stated that there's nobody else around. Sure, the conclusion is obvious. No one else could possibly have committed this awful crime. No one else could have done it. The accused must be the man. Really, it couldn't be more simple.
The argument is compelling in its simplicity, I must admit.
Oh my, you are too kind, my lord.
That went well for her. Okay, so she's definitely part of it, for sure.
Hold it!
Whatever's the matter, young man?
You're the wife of Mr. Gribbon, aren't you? The landlord who rents Mr. Natsumi's room?
Well, master's wife, where do you get your ideas, sir? I'm the maid, you understand.
She's keeping with a charade? This is gonna be awkward. Why didn't you mention this yesterday? That you'd be selected for the jury of this trial, I mean.
Well, I was told not to mention it to anyone until the day of the trial, you see. It was the letter I received. The instructions were very clear, so I'm afraid I had no choice.
I see. Anyway, Mr. Natsumi, the defendant, takes lodging in your master's house, doesn't he?
Yes, that's right. Although he's only been a little over a week now.
And in that time, surely you must have taken stock of his character. Does Mr. Natsumi look like a kind of man who would commit a crime such as this? He does.
Oh my goodness me, yes, he's just that sort.
What?
Spending all his time in the dark and dingy rooms, sporting an unscrupulous mustache. The man never speaks, and don't get me started on those shifty eyes. All the neighbors are talking about him. I've heard them, you know. People think we must be building a bomb in there or something. Oh dear. Poor Mr. Natsumi. How could people say such things about him? He's just a harmless bookworm. Nothing more.
Oh! You fucking got called a bookworm by a Sasato-san! Damn! Even by a Sasato-san, you're getting dunked on. Just bottom of the totem pole, why don't you? You know, just full out. Omega, baby. Not like a fucking Sigma, like Kazuma. We're putting it together. Well, you just called him a worm, so... Anyway, you gotta be careful about inviting this maid to speak. She's said enough damning things already. Well, looks like he's the one that I have to talk to. The mostest. Sorry, fold it. You say, fold what? No. What I said was hold it. What I wanted to ask was, do you visit your books often? I like the old books they have in there, yes. Enjoy reading them over a nice cup of old tea. It's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day. Including the day you're all talking about. At what time did you visit your books on the day in question? Well, I was picking up books in there all afternoon, and would have been just about before 5 when I left. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day I'm all talking about. Just before 5, you say? It's like when the victim was attacked. Are you sure about the time? Oh, yes, no mistake there. I remember it well. Not about to forget the day in a hurry. Not like a dreadful time I had.
What do you mean? Well, I was walking down Calbus Road when I slipped on the ice and ducked my head.
Yeah, green coat. Literally, it's this. You saw him instead. Oh my god. This is what happened.
It's always rough after the snow stopped falling. That's when it's most slippery. Knocked myself clean out, I did. I thought my number was up.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. This happened on Calbish Road?
That's right. I live in Cornpipe, you see. Heading down Calbish Road is the quickest way for me to get back from your books.
Juror number 6, I must insist that you add the information to your formal statement. It may very well be extremely significant.
Huh? Sorry? Extremely sick? No, I'm quite alright now.
You changed 2 of the jurors' minds, Mr. Naruto. Yes, just 2 more to go. Deliver the finishing blow. Now, it's time to turn the tables here. Wish I knew how to do a Susato takedown. I suppose the words had to suffice for now. So it's these 2. And green collapsed before why it could only have been the victim. I slipped over and fell myself. I knocked myself clean out, you know. P.
Objection.
Yes. I got 3 out of 2 correct. These 2 statements clearly show a flaw in the juror's reasoning.
A flaw? What are you talking about, Counsel?
Well, juror number 2. Juror number 6? Whatever you mean, sir. I think perhaps the old man didn't hear you. Unbelievable. It's not like I was loud or anything. So at least one fact of which we could be sure here. The bookshop receipt found in the defendant's room clearly indicates that on the day of the attack, he had been to your books and purchased a number of second-hand titles. He then returned home on foot. But the man says he has no recollection of his return journey. That's correct. But what he does remember is seeing someone appear in front of him on the way. Someone in a green overcoat who suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes. Yes, we are well aware of this. The poor young woman who has stabbed, obviously.
Objection.
Can we really be sure of that, madam? My, whatever do you mean? I'm sure you heard juror number 6 account of what happened to him that day. That same afternoon, there was somebody else apart from the victim, who was wearing a green overcoat and who fell over the icy streets of the neighborhood. Oh my. Oh. My goodness. You mean? That's right. I'm referring, of course, to hard of hearing juror number 6. Are you really suggesting that the person in the green overcoat, whom the defendant saw collapse in front of his eyes, was the jolly old gentleman on the end of the bench here with me today? It's entirely possible, yes. I gotta call him out on his hearing like that. You just do. No, we discriminate here up in Great Ace Attorney. Call people Nipponese, even though it's like totally not couth and just very rude. After all, the old man has a somewhat similar build to the victim.
Well, look at that.
My goodness me.
Sorry, you need a pee?
Gotta call out, you want to hear it, right? And crucially, we know precisely where the old man in the green overcoat fell. On Calbish Road. Therefore, if the person who Mr. Natsumi saw collapsing in front of him was in fact juror number 6, it means the defendant must have taken the long route back in his lodgings. If that's true, then clearly the crime scene at Brim Road, where the woman was stabbed, was not on his way home. Oh
My.
Yeah, the old man, if you hadn't been so daft as just been roaming around there, we'd have boxed this off hours ago.
And really, what were you thinking wearing such a butt-fiddling coat?
What do you say to me? Is it a crime for the elderly to walk the street these days, Is it a crime to slip over the ice? Is it a crime to keep up with the latest styles and wear a beautiful green overcoat, is it?
My lord, I do hope it won't cause any inconvenience, but...
You'd like to change your leaning, I presume?
I do declare that I would. I should like to call for a verdict of not guilty.
Thank you. And I would too.
What?
It isn't a crime to change your mind, is it? What?
He's just so angry. Damn, we out here be winning, right? Just turn about. Just turn around.
Well, that summation examination has concluded with a rather large shift in opinion. The eyes, too. The nose, for. So the nose have it. Not guilty, they say. Which means we no longer have a consensus among the members of the jury. Trial will continue.
Objection!
He's out here to do it again.
Could it seem churlish of me to drink from my hollow chalice moments to raise an objection? Only to crush it in disgust. Pray forgive the discourtesy.
Lord Van Zeeks?
It seems I must retract my earlier remark.
What do you mean?
I mistakenly credited those jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful.
Yeah, he does feel like he's gonna say that any moment now. He's gonna call anyone a miserable pyro secrets. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't do that by the end of it all. I really wouldn't.
And we just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by a Eastern entertainer.
Eh? Whatever do you mean?
Objection!
That's why last one likes women? Yeah.
I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I've said is the truth. Indeed. Stalwart juror number 5 was undoubtedly repairing the road as he claims.
And Fambi is, yeah.
I believe you said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement which you had excavated, sir? That's right. It took me the whole day and they paid me a measly tumbits for it. Now, my little Nipponese friend, tell me, do you have any notion of the distance that 2 yards represents?
Well, I'm honest, I don't have a clue, no. 2 yards is a little less than 2 meters.
Less than 2 meters? That's not much at all! In other words, a distance readily vaulted by anyone of modern vulgar. Would you not agree, my salt friend? Eh, me? Well, I couldn't see you're wrong, no.
What?
Did you perchance erect a sign to prevent pedestrians from passing the site of your work? Eh, I wouldn't dream of it. What a waste of time. No coaches would have had a hope of passing anyway, and we just turned any gentle fellow back when they came. Kids just jump right over us all the time. The accuser's no gentleman, as far as I could see. I have little doubt, however, that he could spring over a 2-yard trench in his meandering around town.
Ah! Is that true, is it?
The incontrovertible truth is that the books just purchased from by the accused were found at the scene. There are no doubt
on his way back to his lodgings, Mr. Natsumi walked down Brim Road. Yeah, crushed in a single sentence. An old man. Old man, you can talk. Say that at around 5 o'clock in the day in question. You slipped and fell on Kelbish Road. Pray, was there suspicious-looking Nipponese behind you in the time? Oh, I couldn't say as I remember. You don't remember? I'll bet a wager, my learned friend. You say it was this old man that the accused saw. But I would lay 1,000 to 1 against you being able to prove it. Ah! Order, order! Lord Van Zeeks, explain yourself. My lord, you had such a trenchant argument up your sleeve. Why in the world did you not profile it during the summation examination? I wanted to give this young foreign student the sightseeing experience he no doubt came for. Wanted him to see for himself how the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. My hospitality has its limits, and they have been reached, I feel. So, my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over. What are you talking about? My lord, the prosecution requests permission to call its next witness to the stand. Granted. Bailiff, bring forth a witness. Its next witness? Mr. Naruto, do you not remember? We've been told on several occasions that there are eyewitnesses to this incident. Yes, I remember. One of them being a Scotland Yard policeman, no less. I'm afraid that that's likely to be the prosecution's next witness. Alright. No matter who Van Zeeks brings to the stand as his witness, no matter what they say, believe in Sasuke-san. I know he's innocent, and I'll keep believing it to the very end, till this battle is over. What? What? It's those two? Witness, please state your names and occupation for the court. They are children. Constable Royal Betty. Say? Nothing to report on the street, sir. Rolia, Patricia. And I'm Miss Betty. Patrick's my name. I'm proud to say I'm this young Tom's hero's wife. What's the story here? Well, in truth, we've not been married long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary only the other day. No. It was your husband I was asking about. He seems tired. Hardly surprising. Whilst being an honorable occupation, patrolling the beats is the most demanding work in the world. Oh, really? I'm sure I've heard that before, actually. Indeed, apart from rare days off, all gallant officers trudge some 20 miles a day, you know? They patrol boarding houses and pubs and collect taxes, survey the streets, check the meters are already true. They're responsible for keeping the streets clean and lighting and extinguishing our street lights. There are a number of items on that list that don't sound like police duties at all. Wouldn't just be falling asleep on my feet. I'd have collapsed long ago. But it goes without saying that the policeman's prime duty is the apprehension of criminals. Even when he's off duty, a constable is expected to investigate and resolve any crimes on his beat. The London Bobby is a man of honor. And a man of slumber. On the day in question, this man and his wife were walking down Brim Road in the opposite direction. They witnessed this incident as it occurred. Is that not correct, Mr. and Mrs. Bett?
That's right, sir. Isn't it, Rolly?
Constable Rolly, I bet, sir. Nothing to report on the street, sir.
What a great witness he's going to be. Very good. I'd like to hear your formal testimonies now, please. You will tell the court exactly what you saw on the afternoon of the incident.
Yes, sir.
I love her hair. Her hair is like so fluffy. That's the kind of hair that I want. I wish my hair was longer, like so much longer. It's only this long. It only reaches to my booba, like, but just barely.
It was our wedding anniversary, and Rolly was taking me out for a meal. There was no time to change up to work. Anyway, 2 silhouettes appeared out of the fog in the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden, one of them collapsed on the floor. Then the other scattered something before running off. We ran straight over, of course, and then went to help buy a nearby police state a box. It was definitely that Japanese man in the dock. Rolly and I both saw him as clear as day.
Well, this is extremely compelling testimony, I must say.
Oh dear. The policeman and his wife were claiming to positively identify Mr. Natsumi at the scene. Their testimony is true. The alternative course of events you established in the summation examination will be quashed.
It's death knell, in fact. Because that alternative was never viable in the first place. An unfortunate chancing. And on your wedding anniversary, too.
Oh, I know. But I still managed to go out for the evening with my man. I thank the Lord for that.
Gosh, the life of a London Bobby sounds very hard indeed.
Indeed. However, this cross-examination will be over in minutes. May well have time to rest this afternoon.
What do you mean by that?
My learned friend, the witness, saw the face of the man fleeing the scene. They are testifying under oath that is, without a doubt, the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. And one of those witnesses is a policeman, no less. So you appreciate the gravity of the situation, I'm sure. Except the man's so tired, his wife has to do all the talking. Enough preamble. Counsel for the defense, commence the cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord.
We're going. What the witness saw. It's our wedding anniversary, and Rollo I was taking me out for a meal. There was no time to change after work.
Okay. 2 silhouettes appeared. 2 silhouettes.
Hold it!
2 silhouettes?
That's right. They were coming towards us, walking up Brim Road in the opposite direction. There was a rather plump figure, followed by a scrawny, thin-looking man. Does sound exactly like the victim as pictured in this print, and like Mr. Natsumi.
Yes, unfortunately it does.
You're certain that at the time there was nobody else nearby?
Oh yes, quite certain. It was dark and there are street lights on Brim Road, you see? There's nobody else around at all. Isn't that right, my darling?
It's like she's just like rolling the pen over and over again.
Oh, well, yes, that's right. Of course, there was a light fog on the ground. But Brim Road is dead straight, and you can see a fairly long way down the pavement. Then there's the street lighting as well. I didn't see any other.
While sleep takes a firm hold, your answer, please, Mr. Bett. Are you quite sure of what you said?
Yes, sir. As a cop that spends all day every day keeping watch on the street, I swear to it, sir.
Oh, look at her just gaze. Oh my god. This is so cute.
As I'm sure as my love for Trisha is true. Oh, Pat. Oh, really?
We're still maintaining there's no one else around other than the victim and the attacker. It's really cute. It's really cute. It's starting to seem like that must be how it really happened. It's beginning to seem like there's nowhere to run. Well, that didn't stop Mr. Natsumi, did it? He fled the scene all too convincingly. Thank you. I believe we have a reasonable, clear idea of the situation just before the incident now. What happened in the crucial moments that followed?
All of a sudden, one of them collapsed before the other one scattered something before. Okay.
We ran straight over, of course, and then went, okay. Okay. He was definitely? I don't know if it's definitely. Surely you wouldn't have been able to see his face by the light of gas street lamps, would you?
We absolutely could! Us Londoners have exceptional sight! I'll have you know!
Right.
The light from the street lamps was more than enough! And my husband already told you that the fog was only a light, didn't he?
Yes. And what of the fog? We're famous for it across the globe, I believe. But it's an absolute menace for those of us who have to live with it, of course.
And it is! When it's thick, you can't see the end of your own arm.
Yes, alright, I take your point. Now, could you stop shaking your husband about?
The constant fog makes our eyes very sharp, you see. That's why we could tell you for sure and certain that it was that little Japanese man we saw. Can't we, darling?
Well, aye, yes. He was accused, and no mistake. The mustache, the hunchback, the cat-like eyes, the taunting mouth, the snub nose, unmistakable, yes, I think I have brain damage, right? As far as the couple's testimony is concerned, there can't be any question. It was Sasuke-san they saw running away from the scene of the crime. But he just said some things. So that's it, isn't it? That's their entire testimony? What do you think, Miss Nardo? Well, I have to admit it, but hearing the testimony, it really does seem as though Mr. and Mrs. Bit saw what they say they saw. Mr. Natsumi running away from the scene at Brim Road that day. Yes, I feel the same. So if that's true, where does it leave us? The members of the jury are sure to call for a guilty verdict after this testimony. No. Then what do we do? If Kazuma-sama were here... What are you trying to say? I think you would find a contradiction somewhere else within their testimony. What do you mean, somewhere else? Their statement about seeing Mr. Natsumi is unequivocal. Calling that into question won't help. But if you could identify some other part of the testimony that appears to contradict the facts, you might be able to discredit them, to make the jury doubt if their pair's memory of the day is accurate. Oh, right. Put simply, we must focus on finding a discrepancy in the statement somewhere. If we don't, I'm afraid the trial may reach an early and unfavorable conclusion. Ugh. Why do I always seem to be up against the... Our wedding anniversary. Okay, straight over. Okay, you ran straight over? Was it your husband who went to fetch help?
No, I went. I may not be a police officer myself, but I am the proud wife of one, after all. Isn't that right, my darling?
Well, yes, that's right. I asked Miss Beat to go. I was off duty at that point. But Bob is never truly off duty, of course, so I felt obligated to staying. Let's see. Very laudable, Mr. Beat. Preserving the scene of the crime is a task of considerable importance. That's why I sent Patricia, you see. I told her where to find the right police box. Forgive my arrogance. What do you mean exactly by the right police box? Depends on the crime's location, you see, as to who deals with it. Well, the woman was stabbed wasn't actually on the beat. So I told Patricia to lay to the police box for the beat. This and it fell under so she could go and report you.
I ran there as quickly as I could and asked for help from the Bobby on duty. There's nothing more potent than a young couple in love of working together, you know?
Thanks to your swift response, the case was quickly resolved. The actions of two model citizens.
Oh, please. You're making us blush, isn't he, darling?
Yes, sir! What Patricia says, say? Let's move on, shall we? Okay. Class and the other scattered. Okay, I think it's the wedding thing.
Hold it!
I'm pretty sure they're not actually married. No time to change after a work, you say. Are you also a member of the police, Miss, Beat?
Oh, no. Sadly not. It's a job for strapping young men only. Women, children, and the elderly can't even apply.
Well, I think I could probably see why children and the elderly can't do the job, can't you?
I think Billy looks very handsome in his uniform. It sits you down to the ground, doesn't it, darling?
Oh, what? I just finished my beat. Pat and I were heading back to the station. I was actually planning on getting changed there. Is he talking in his sleep? This is creepy.
Oh no, really, I much prefer you in your uniform. Sometimes I don't recognize you when I see you in plain clothes.
Oh dear, that doesn't seem healthy. Kindly here to the point. You were going to for a meal after you finished your beat for the day, correct? That's right, sir. Although I was fit to drop, to be honest. Spending the whole day on my feet. But personally, it's my life, sir. As long as I'm proud owner of this, I'll serve my city and my queen to the end. What's that now? My what? Card set. Proof that I'm a London copper. It was a noble founding principles of the force, written as it is reminded to us, policemen of a sworn duty. To patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. So, and for such a noble cause, I cover 20 miles every single day without fail and without a grumble. Before I know, the puddling of my boots is all London is and need to hear to feel safe and secure. So fighting crime doesn't appear to come into it then? But so, just on one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. B puts up with a lot being married to a bubby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care.
Yeah. That's just really cute. Can't recognize her own husband in different clothes, but definitely recognize the cues. Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, what a charming couple. Their young love is such a joy to behold.
Only a little. Over the top, perhaps? And then, kindly describe what happened next.
Mr. Lawyer, sir, can I ask you something?
Oh, yes, of course. What is it?
Well, you keep asking us all these questions about everything we've told you so. It seems like you don't believe our testimony, is that right? Is it? Well, out with it.
What? No. Oh no, it's not really, not at all.
My husband's a policeman, remember? And I know what I saw. I remember every last detail, everything, like, oh, I know. What about the books the man dropped? I could tell you the names of every single one I could, every single one. And you dare to question how reliable my testimony is?
That will do, Miss Beach.
No, it won't do at all. The Japanese lawyer has no idea what I'm capable of. Even if I decide to forgive him for his insults, don't think for a minute that Rolly will.
I really didn't mean to cause offense. Please put your husband's fist down.
That's really cute. I love that. I always love that pay of whatchamacallit, couples like using each other's arms and stuff like that. That's always been really cutesy to me. You got it wrong, Sonic THP? That's fine. We're almost at the end of the stream anyway, so it's for the bestest. Pretty much after this testimony, I'm gonna end it for today. Unless I see that there might be something like really good to lift a cliffhanger on. But yeah. Yeah. Alright, see ya. Ciao. Sayonara. Bye-bye.
I really didn't mean to cause offense. Please put your husband's fist down. Perhaps you would like the opportunity to supplement your testimony, Mrs. Beach?
Okay, I'll call you after then.
Might that appease you?
Oh, thank you, my lord. That would settle things nicely. Wouldn't it, darling?
Names of the 4 books he dropped. Okay, let's hear them.
Well, we know there were books dropped on the scene of the crime, as you say. Those purchased by the accused at the nearby second-hand bookshop on the day in question.
After I'd been to the police box for help, I decided to have a good look over on the area for good measure. And I'm a proud policeman's wife. After all, I did it for Rolly.
And what was your husband doing at the time?
There were 3 books, though. Oh! Babe! Did you just solve it without me even, like, looking? My goodness.
He was lying face down in the snow, getting some well-deserved rest. He works ever so hard, you know? Ever so hard, don't you, my darling?
Interesting way of guarding the scene of the crime.
Well, Miss Beach,
seeing as you're regular to the court with tales of your powers of recollection, would you be so kind as to recount the titles of the books you observed at the scene?
I'd be happy to. Now, are you listening? There was a picture of Mosier somebody or other, and what's it herein? Yearnings? Then there was a meal for someone, and the last one was definitely the thingamis something. You see?
Yes, I see there are 1 or 2 holes in your memory.
Oh, well, it was along those lines, I'm quite sure.
There were indeed books found at the scene with titles along those lines, as you put it.
Well, what did I tell you? So I think it's very mean, the way even implying my testimony can't be trusted. Don't you agree, darling?
Anyone who upsets my Patricia will have me answer to. Terrifying. Yes, she really is. So that's it, is it? That's their entire testimony?
Okay, yeah, it's the same thing. Please. 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 Please! Let me leave. I know where I want to, like, go at. Okay. So... present... Yep, the 3 books right here. Shablam.
So you're saying that there were 4 books?
That's right, and I remember all of them. The picture was for somebody, was it earnings, a meal for someone, and a thing to be something.
I'm sorry, Miss Beat. But there's a fundamental flaw in this statement of yours. Oh no. What flaw? Simply that at the scene of the crime, there were only 3 books, not 4. What? This is the receipt with the bookshop where the defendant brought his books. Your books? Yes, and its details Mr. Natsumi's purchase that day. And as you can see, only 3 books are listed. Only 3? No, that can't be. I remember seeing them. There were 4 books, I tell you. 4 dirty old books. Oh, really? Have a good look at this photograph print on the scene of the crime. As you clearly see from this evidence as well, there are only 3 books. But I just don't believe it. I saw them there. I swear, I saw them. No, madam. I'm afraid your powers of observation cannot be relied upon. So it cannot be denied that though you say it was the defendant you saw, you could very well have been mistaken. Oh no. Oh, no!
Objection!
It's plainly evident. And there's your power of deduction that cannot be relied upon, my learned Nipponese friend. What? What cannot be denied is that these 2 witnesses saw the accused running from the scene. The fact that you know very well that you have no hope of disproving. Yeah. So you strive to avert attention from that by a dint of some inconsequential discrepancies. Will that be fair? He sees right through me. But your plan is somewhat recoiled against you. What are you talking about? It's quite simple. Let me explain with a toast. To the policeman's wife and her entirely accurate testimony. Never respect. Oh. You see, the matter is not up for debate. The scene of Bryn Road, a total of 4 books were most definitely found.
Objection!
But what about the photographic print? It only shows 3 books. Quite right. Only 3 can be seen in that print. The print? You mean to say... Allow me to present another. One that shows the victim's hand. The something books? Oh, it looks burnt. Why does it look burnt? I don't believe it. It's the 4th book. As you observe, the 4th book was hidden from view in the original print by the victim's torso. No. No! Order! There, you see? Look at that. Look! Yes. It's just like I said, isn't it, my darling? Yes, sir. Patricia's always right, sir. Let me study the receipt for the books purchased by the accused on the day in question. Miss Beach, the titles are once again, if you please. Ah, yes, of course. The picture Mosier, somebody or other. Picture Mosier Alikun. With it earnings? Contraberry yearnings. A meal for someone? A meal for a Gumbrian, in fact. As the court has just heard, the witness remembers the book's titles flawlessly, save for a few minor details. Miss Beat's power of recollection can only be described as exceptional. Did you hear that, Rolly? The gentleman paid me a compliment.
Yes, sir. Full, sir. Patricia's flawless. But there are only 3 books on the receipt, and Miss Beat mentioned 4. There's nothing surprising about that. Whether the 4th book is that which is shown in the photographic print. Sorry, Counsel, but does that not seem odd? Why would the 4th book be omitted from the receipt? It's not odd at all, my lord. The photograph clearly shows the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim. Victim was holding her own book? Wonder, what became of that 4th book? Obviously, it wasn't overlooking by the investigating officers, Scotland Yard. I have it here as evidence. You will submit that in an unpermitted photographic print to the court, please, Consul. My pleasure, my lord.
Yuki.
There we go, we got a whole bunch of new things.
The prosecution rests. I had nothing further to add. What? You seem surprised, my learned friend. But your resistance now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. The spurious longer road to be the accused lodgings that you tried to establish in your submission examination. And then attempted discrediting of the witness's powers of recollection in your cross-examination.
Futile? I walked right into this, didn't I? You say everything we said is true? Isn't that right, my darling?
Yes, Pat. Me, Pat. So perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to reconsider their positions. Should the court waste any more time with this Nepionese travesty? Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? You have heard of the witness and seen all of the evidence. The trial has run its course.
Mr. Nardo, I'm afraid we have a terrible, precarious position.
No, but if I fight back in the wrong way now, I could very well make matters worse.
Think, Aronofsky, think. What do you do now? Reason objection.
Objection!
Reason objections, you got to.
I'm not done yet!
No, my learned friend. It's over.
The last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense.
And it failed.
The die has been cast. There's no room for debate. Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but...
Can't think of what to say. If I may, Lord Van Zeeks, it seems somewhat boorish to come down at the debate at this point.
Your insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed. For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this.
Oh?
I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you'll have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential, and her opinions invaluable.
Miss Narada.
One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance. So, court will hear you, madam.
Go ahead, Mrs. Sato. Please.
Very well. What insight can you give us?
Hey, Grandpa's Ghost, you're back. Good to hear. We're almost done for the night here, but we're edging towards like a nice fitting end. So you're here for the nice little juicy part.
What have we all overlooked in this matter that you see fit and pursue further?
Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished.
I see. And you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you?
Mr. Naruto, do you think it's just possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for? The judges are sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their leanings in the moment. All's going well so far. We're at a tense moment. Of course, he's sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So we must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible. Okay, so this is our time to do it. Lion's Pride. Remember this? I think we remember this. Oh, look at this! The book has been badly burned.
Right. I've never been able to read it in this state, especially not the latter pages.
What a terrible waste. Judging from the scorn edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently.
Book recently damaged by fire.
Does that seem to raise a red flag with me? It's the Lion's Pride. Let me see, it's a book entitled The Lion's Pride.
Afraid I don't know any English literature at all.
So wouldn't it be something I've heard? Wait a minute.
Lion's Pride.
That's strange. I think I've heard of a book by that name before. And very recently, too. It's a title I recognize too, Mr. Naruto. Okay, so we got that. Salmon. Oh, Hero Xerikov, what are you doing? How are you doing tonight? You came back, but I will be a silent watcher tonight. Okay, that's fair. I'm getting tired, so I was gonna be going full screen to enjoy the game. Valid. How to say, we're near the end point of ending the stream, but we're getting to a juicy bits. So, you know, cliffhanger beholds. But it's good to see that you're here, Hero X Etika. What is the look right here? It would be the face, right? What would be a thing that we could look around here for? Anything? I don't think so. I don't think there's something that we could like have as a thing. Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's just this evidence. The voice acting rocks. Oh my god, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I try to do the good voice acting. I really try. It's hard to do it on stream like this. I much prefer to do it with just recording, but thank you.
Yes, I understand. And thank you, Mr. Sato.
This is it. Sato-san has managed to win us one last chance here. Let's go and put options. We're saving, but only so I don't fucking screw this up. Like, I don't want to screw this thing up, please. No screwing up.
Can't let it go to waste. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight in this case.
Okay. These
Take
ones.
that!
The answer to the question is what we see from the newly presented photograph print of this crime scene.
You could slam your fist, sir. But that's how he talks! You cast you to my TV so I don't have to respond, honestly. Okay, much obliged.
The fourth book found in the victim's hand.
Objection!
We've already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no one significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a vagrant waste of the court's time, as you well know. Ah. Yes. Afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afforded you this opportunity, You led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained a hitherto undiscovered clue. So I must insist that you elaborate, Consul. You will identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, my lord. It's none of the... I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence. Which means you may very well be on the right track. Yes. I think you might be right.
So, Consul, precisely where is the vital clue in this case, which is the fourth book conceals?
Whoop, 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 doo doo doo, doo 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 doo. Where are you? Cluey, cluey, clue, I'm follow you. It's a clue, where are ya? God dang it. I got trapped in this again. So the one thing that sucks about Ace Attorney is if you accidentally misclick, you're in for like a solid minute and a half of this. Damn. I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question.
The back? What are you... Gracious! It's been printed to a crisp.
So we had to ask ourselves, what was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It's undeniably extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
Objection!
Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend?
Oh,
Were I to concede the point, that bears no relation to the case, there's nothing to discuss. So, should you wish to assert this fire damage as some veiled clue as to what happened that day? Pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide? A charred book. There is just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory. Don't keep us waiting any longer, Consul. Explain this theory of yours. Research that you could assert from the fire damage that sorry tomb has suffered.
its owner, the shop that sold, its content, its owner would be the most likely case.
My lord, the burnt on the back of this book reveals a startling truth about the book's owner. I beg your pardon?
But we already know who the book belongs to. The victim was gripping it in her hand as she fell to the floor. After all, it's obviously hers.
The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, as to the questions of who the book really belongs to and where it originated, the defense has very credible answers. Good gracious. How could you be possibly... Very well, play along with this futile attempt to delay our inevitable demise. But do remember, the members of the jury may well burn you if the little gamble goes awry. Counsel, the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So tell the court, who do you claim is the owner of this book?
Who we know it. So it's this dude.
Take that!
The answer is that book belongs to the couple who owned the house where the defendant has his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Gribbon. The landlords. Whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for jury duty in his courtroom today is none other than Mrs. Gribbon herself.
Oh my goodness! I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Gibbons' wife. I'm his maid.
Things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright then, how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Gribbon's house?
I would never presume to know all the books he keeps, sir.
Objection!
This is outlandish behavior. Someone is accused landlady, you say? The implicate, this hard-working member of the public. You besmirch her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable.
Objection!
This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed in the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garbin's house. Good lord. Sort of incident, Consul? A fire, my lord. Well, to say it was, happened in a blink of an eye, you know? The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally footage started going up as well. Most of it, that's my favorite, but called Lion's Pride. The Lion's Pride. By Jove, the very same title that the subject of this debate. Dearie me!
Objection!
This is risible. All you've told the court is that the book by the same name was involved in a fire. In which case, would have reasonable to assume that it was burned to ashes. Entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself to the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord? Without going into details, it appears that Miss Gribbon was constantly enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Gribbon, and even amid the flames.
Oh, how awful! Can you even imagine doing some, so horrid the one you love? Can you, really?
Absolutely not, sir. My Patricia would never raise a finger against me, sir. And all my favorite old novels in that case. As soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Oh, I started hurling things at me. There was I, back up against the window, the heavy enemy fire. Incidentally, books, incoming 10 to the dozen. The man had his back up against the window, and he had burning books thrown at him? Goodness gracious. Are you suggesting that the book was thrown through the window and landed precisely at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
No, a thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident. There was no report of the Garbin's window pane being broken. That's quite true. We also saw no signs of broken glass when we visited the Garbin household.
Off to full screen, have a good night, you too. This is almost done though, I assure you.
But it is not conceivable that the window was open at the time, and not even remotely. Let us forget the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. No wonder would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter. Does the defense postulate the scenario in all seriousness, Consul? Do you honestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Gribbon's wife? I believe it's a possibility, my lord. Oh?
I hope that everyone could see for what you are now, you little foreign trickster. You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. A mean coward!
Really?
Claiming that our one little tiff set the whole neighborhood alight? Honestly. Implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance's sake? How could you? It's nothing to do with this beastly case. Not any of it. And all you done is sully your family's name.
No, I assure you, this is never my intention.
Dragging upstanding citizens' name through the mud, sure, simply to divert attention from your fallen defense. I should box your ears, that's what I should do. It's utterly unforgivable.
Too right. Here we go. How long have we sat here now listening to this Nipponese spouting his fancy foreign theories? What? Think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly have stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with a mustache, and he ran away from the scene too.
I do declare you're right.
It's true.
Yes. Oh, what did you tell you?
Makes sense to me. Sorry.
What's that?
Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Van Zeeks? In truth, my lord, feel these have been unnecessarily protracted proceedings. But then, one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage.
No, wait!
The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been... If books are your predilection, my learned friend, study them on your own time. What? No forgive the discourse this time? In the case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear.
Guilty.
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 Guilty. Guilty.
Oh boy, here we go again!
Thank you for the ancestral response.
And thank you all for coming today. It was a pleasure having you all around. As per always. It was a great pleasure. I know we would have been more ahead of time, but you know, it's whatever. Thank you, Grandpa's Ghost, for coming on over, as well as you too, Hero X Erica, and Azazel. As always, you're a pleasure to have and a half. Sonic THP, thank you for showing up too. It was a pleasure having you. Hal, thank you as well. And yeah, that should be about everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. Or if you've been lurking, thank you so much. It really helps the channel. And let's see if there's anyone I could go up and raid up in this business. Alright, let's go here, y'all. It is Yakuza Like a Dragon time. So let's get this going. Who loves the Yakuza? I love the Yakuza. Do I do ooh? I do ooh. Please say hi and bye and thank you. Till then, thank y'all for watching. Sayonara. Bye bye. I said bye bye.